Hello, hello, hello. So today's the new moon in Leo, supposedly, because I mean, I'm sure it is, but I'm not super on the astrology like I used to be. But this will be a quick one because I gotta get ready for work. So this will be 15 minutes at the most. Um, And then I could always come back later and see if there was anything astrologically uh, interesting. But I wanted to just come live real quick, just to pull a few cards and see what's up. Now, it's interesting because the opportunity, I'll use that one later. I'm using Mystical Shaman Oracle cards in the Vitruvian edition of the SKT because I use a good tarot. Um, Hello. How you doing? Did you start school yet? Hopefully, if you did, it's been going well. Oh, no, not yet. Yeah, school started here recently. I couldn't remember how soon you said next week. Oh, okay. Oh, so yeah, because I think that's when we usually start around here, but for some reason this year they started early. And then you'll get Labor Day. Excuse me. How you been? I mean, it's a good tarot. We're just gonna pull a few cards, see what's up with the new moon, Leo. And it's interesting. So the opportunity today is 8/16. Oh, look, there's the star again. That's the star that was being stingy. The stingy star, the selfish star. I'm doing well. Today is my last day and of this rotation, so I'm excited. I'm tired, but excited to have the next 4 days off. And there's a celebration dinner today at work. Ooh, strength card. Queen of Fire at the bottom of the deck. So this is interesting because the Queen of Fire came out and then Patience behind the Queen of Fire. Queen of Fire came out in the Dreams of Gaia Tarot at some point recently-ish. But it was the Five of Water and some other card that was the Anana, the Isis. It was the Isis that had lost Osiris. And in her grief, I don't want to say desperation, but in her grief, she had an opportunity to rediscover, revitalize, strengthen, evolve a gift and ability that she had, or a potentiality or capacity. See, um, a potentiality or a capacity that she had within her. So she collects the pieces of Osiris. She brings them back together. It's interesting because I don't know if it's just the US, but the symbolism of a snake that's been like cut into pieces. And then Osiris was killed by Set, I think, and cut into pieces. But that was before the bird came and ate the snake. But she was able to put them back together and bring them back to life. But it was a Queen of Fire at the bottom of that deck. Now, instead of it being a Five of Cups energy or one of despair, it's coming out with strength in this new moon. because now the moon is where the sun is. So it's like you ain't even got to worry about stingy Aquarius. Or the stingy star not pouring out any water. Well, it's interesting. So today is 8/16. 16 is 8 plus 8. So through whatever that thing is, that's like reduction. It's an 888. So the opportunity that came for me personally, and that this is interesting in and of itself. I live close to corn now. Like right down the road is the beginning of the cornfields. And it's interesting because this is a card that I haven't had an association with for a while. Because I like to, if I can, especially pull from associations and stuff in my own life. Because it's like, why this card? Why me? What do I have to say? And for a while, like I didn't really have anything about corn. I was like, oh, well, my chat disconnected and I'm reconnected. So it's fine. I'm also eating boba tea. So like I have to chew and drink instead of just drink. I didn't have an association with it for a long time. I know it symbolizes abundance. Then it became a card of something that goes in and comes out the same way because you will chew a kernel, but it'll come out whole. Maybe it's restored by the end of it. Maybe that also goes back or plays into that Osiris energy a little bit, the Isis Osiris, how he was put back together, reconstituted, and then passed from the gates of death back onto the side of life. Oh, my phone getting low, 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 low. So, but now, so it was a card I didn't have too much association with for a long time. And now I'm a lot closer to it. Because like I said, it's literally right down the street. I could walk there and be there in like 3 minutes. So anyway, the opportunity that came up on 8/8 that went away apparently while I was thinking and deliberating within myself and weighing out pros and cons and this and that and considering what I want to do and where I want to go. It went away when I went to actually apply for it. It was gone. And then I made a comment to somebody. They were like, yeah, like, because I thought I had just missed it. But she was like, yeah, like the day after I gave it to you, I went looking for it and it was gone. So it was like 8/8, 8/9. It wasn't even 8/9 probably, because it was the morning of 8/8 when I heard about it. And then it was the evening of 8/8 when like I actually saw her and she handed me the paper going into 8/9 because I work overnight. And then the other day, it popped back up. And I've only been in my position for a few months, and they were like, typically, they like somebody to stay 12 to 18 months before they transition or do something else. So I just replied to the HR lady, and the HR lady was like my age. Well, she's younger, but and it's like she also has like aspirations of things that like she would like to do and what she's about, and I love it. But it's like the opportunity that I thought was the opportunity, not that it was the opportunity, because if it was the opportunity, there would have been no hesitation. It was an opportunity. The opportunity that was an opportunity wasn't the one that was meant for me, but because of the choices and decisions I made, meaning to like reach out and ask, meaning that like deliberation process, it led me to discover things that they already have in place, resources that already exist, to gauge like interest and like to talk about your career path in the company or probably even outside, and how you can there's opportunity to get different knowledge and experiences from outside and to build yourself up. And it's gorgeous. It's amazing. But because of that opportunity, I reached out and I had the conversation that I had today that opens up the playing field moving forward. And then there are some new things that they're doing in the company that I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But it almost sort of comes down to what I want to do, how I want to specialize or build myself up and curate experiences to go towards establishing and building that foundation so that I can be of a value, of increased value, and so that I can really play to my strengths to become a whatever. And I think sometimes we can get so hung up on a particular opportunity or a particular specific thing when it presents itself that we don't remain open to other opportunities, or we don't allow that to be a bridging point or an intermediary step to get us in the direction that we more fully want to go in, because we lament the fact. Lament has re-entered my vocabulary. Hey, Holly, how you doing? Because we lament the opportunity that passed us. We don't allow for anything more after that sometimes because of disappointment, which is very human and understandable. This card I see constantly. But anyway, so I was talking to her and she was like, because she said you can always, she meant to say you could always shadow someone. Well, she did say you can always shadow someone and learn that way. And then when you want to transition, you would have a base of knowledge to help you transition into that role, number one, and to make you look a little more appealing, number two, because there's knowledge that you already have. And I was like, chilly today? I wish it were chillier here. Then it wouldn't cost so much to make it not hot. Speaking of, I didn't even know that Hawaii was burning and that people were I caught part of Cindy's live where she kind of mentioned it, but I didn't really. And then it popped up on my YouTube, and now it's been coming into my awareness. So I haven't seen my girl Ari, but I hope she's all right. I'm gonna send her a message on Instagram. But yeah. I did want to mention that. I hope that, I hope that the missing are found and that people can get the resources they need. And I know that Hawaii is an interesting place because of tourism and stuff like that. And I know that there's a whole history of politics there that is one that doesn't necessarily always favor the people who are native to the land, as is the case in a lot of places. But yeah, I don't want to say anyway, but I was oh my gosh. But yeah, prayers for Hawaii and those affected. I haven't seen Shelby in a long time because she's from Hawaii. I wonder what she's up to. But yeah, so she was like, you could always shadow somebody. And I was like, oh, because in this time frame of a year that I have to wait in order before a year to a year and a half before I can transition somewhere else, I have the opportunity to experience many different parts of the operation. I have an option because of the way I'm thinking about it right now is like if I dedicate 3, 4, 5 months to like observing the process from start to finish, because I can do that, not only will it help me in my job, especially when it comes to like I work in quality. So when it comes to identifying like root issues or root causes or where this or where that could have gone, whatever, or just like talking about it, I would have a better idea. I'm already at 15 minutes. Let's become about the proper new moon thing is probably going to be after I get off tomorrow morning. So in roughly 14 to 15 hours. So we'll say 13 to 15 hours. No, not 13. Oh yeah, 13 to 16 hours. Um, but it was like it was that introductory opportunity to gain interest to cause me to have a conversation, to know that I can more deliberately walk my now to get closer to the then that I want, or just to have more knowledge and information when it comes time to make a choice. And I can make a choice based upon experiences that I've had and knowledge that I have of processes and departments, rather than like guessing and having my best guesstimate or whatever, or rather than just taking what's available. Because as the time comes, that's when conversations can be had, and that's where again it only benefits me to be in this period of waiting. Patience. It only benefits me to be in this period of waiting when I wait purposefully. And there are many things that I can do to ease that transition and to make a better decision and to do all of the things that I want to do. And it also allows me an openness to going down whatever path. Because I might have my eyes set in a certain direction now, but through the course of this year, things could change. And that'll be something that I know, right? Rather than needing to live that life to find out, I can live my life. I can live my life now in a way that will inform me for later. But she said shadow work, and I was like, oof. She was like, you could do shadow work, and so you can find this and that. But she meant like shadowing someone else as they work. But when she said shadow work, I was like, ooh. Gotta pull cards about that. And it's interesting that shadow work is coming with the new moon. But maybe that's the thing about new moon shadow work, is that you wouldn't see it unless it's like a solar eclipse. And that's happening in like October, according to some article that popped up yesterday. And it's like the Southwest US look like is going to be able to see like the ring of fire. Oh snap! I wonder if Eve is in the eclipse path. She in the Southwest. She's Southwest folk. Kathy is Southwest folk. I wonder if Kathy will be in the path. I have to ask. I have to inquire. Might be time to visit the Southwest. Today's video not sponsored by Boba. But yeah, it's almost like when the moon, in a new moon, the moon and the sun are conjunct. And so it's almost like the moon would cast a shadow because it's right in front of a source of light. It's right in front of the sun. But the moon is the only source of illumination we have at night. And you need light for there to be a shadow. So it's like, since the luminary body that we usually have isn't providing light, it's almost like you can't even see the shadow that it casts, because the lesser luminary is sitting on the greater one. but it's the lesser one that reflects the light. Something like that. So, ooh, I've been seeing stuff about that meteor shower. This is how it typically happens. I'll see stuff about the meteor shower for a month before it happens, and I'll see it consistently. But the closer we get to it actually happening, the more I just don't even remember ever seeing anything, and the more I stop seeing stuff until it's over. Like, oh, it's already peaked. It was last night. And I was like, no. Okay. So real quick, because I really need to go. Corn. Corn slides out of the deck. But yeah, because she said shadow work, it made me think of like, well, what would be casting a shadow? If it's a new moon, then the moon would be casting a shadow. And the moon is at the bottom of the deck. The corn moon. I think we just had the sturgeon moon. The harvest moon? Is the harvest moon the one in October? I wonder if the harvest moon will be a lunar eclipse. Because one of those will be a lunar eclipse around the solar eclipse. But anyway, I already forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, the moon would be casting a shadow, but since it's our nighttime luminary, we wouldn't even see it. So it's like invisible shadow work. Or it could be like tremors, not a tremor, but like an after shock. It could be like situations, like if we did shadow work, and there's been quite a few energies lately of successfully completed journeys, shadow work that's been done, healing that's been done, all of this learning and expansion that's been done. So it could be that like there's an event, maybe that was my journey buddy that was just talking about it. No, it was, well, she could have too, but it was somebody I follow on Instagram. There was a post on their story that it was something like how healing is wild because one day something is like bothering you and affecting you. And then one day you wake up and it isn't anymore. And you know that you've grown or healed or. So it's almost like that. It's almost like something could occur that would have triggered like a tower or a dark night or the shadow in whatever way, but now it won't. And that's why it's an invisible shadow. I mean, there are many, we see the moon in all of its phases here. So it could play out any kind of way. I don't know. Anyway, this was apparently more about me and my personal life, but how it speaks to energies that may be present. Specifically, gateway opportunities, specifically opportunities that are really meant to lead to conversation and exploration and an expansion in what we believe is possible or what we know to be possible, rather than those opportunities necessarily being for the taking. And if that is the case, then to not be so discouraged or distraught or disappointed that we don't allow ourselves to be open to what those opportunities really were coming into our lives for. Also, apparently, again, a congratulations is in order because this Queen of Fire is now standing in her strength rather than her being the weepy Five of Cups, rather than her being consumed by her grief. Because there's a difference between like grieving and allowing yourself to grieve and being consumed by it. And at certain parts of the grieving process, it may look very similar. And then, yeah, 8 is strength and it's Leo. And then the Queen of Fire is here. So, and the sun and the moon are both in Leo. So, hence the new moon. So yeah, I hope y'all have an amazing whatever one of you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. Thank you, Kia and Holly, for coming in. And yeah, I'll probably be live to maybe. I might not. Because at least over here it seems like it's entering real personal territory. With corn and the moon, also, especially with everything I talked about earlier, and just keeping in this general theme of us living our lives, basically getting closer to points that we don't even know. It is exactly that. The corn means something now different than it meant before because of my proximity to corn now. And so if I were to go back, I mean, are there ways that I could have intuitively interpreted, I'm going to live next to a cornfield? Of course. But it's like that wasn't the point because corn symbolized what it symbolized at that time, and it was appropriate for that time. And that's this moon. With the corn, it's like we get closer without even necessarily knowing exactly what we're getting closer to. And all the while, we'll see it in different phases. I mean, at the same time, corn is always corn, and the moon is always there, regardless of whether we see it or not. Just like the sun. The sun is there, regardless if we're in the middle of the night and it's pitch black outside. It didn't disappear, but it's what do they call it? Is it object permanence or something like that? Where you know it's there even if you can't see it. And so it's like when you have a concept of object permanence, then it's like peekaboo isn't as fun anymore, or it's not as surprising because you know it's still there. But I want to say like abject. Ooh, what is abject prominence? Let's see. Is that a thing? It says, did you mean object permanence? No, I did not. We're gonna have to. I'm a Google define it in pieces. So abject, experienced or present to the maximum degree. This letter plunged her into abject misery. That's a lot of misery. That's of something bad. Oh, that's why. Of something bad experienced or present to the maximum degree. Of a person or their behavior completely without pride or dignity, self-abasing, an abject apology. Now, what was it? Object permanence, abject. I already forgot. I'm tired, y'all. Prominence. Oh, is that experiencing prominence to the maximum degree? Prominence, the state of being important or famous. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. The fact or condition of standing out from something by physically projecting or being particularly noticeable. Abject prominence would make it seem like it's a bad thing, sticking out like a sore thumb. That's the five of water. That's the energy of the five of water. The five of water is the grotesque. Hey, Steph, how are you doing? I've been wondering if you made it to your daughter's yet, because I know you said you'd be, I can't remember exactly when, but I know you said you'd be going back with your granddaughter. It's nice to see you. Should have been gone like 15 minutes ago. I got to go get ready for work. But it was nice to see you. But the five of the grotesque came out yesterday. The grotesque came out yesterday, and it had. Oof, okay, well, hopefully.
Hi there.
That's my alarm. Right on time. I thought I would be waking up right now and then rushing to get ready, but I'm ending the live and rushing to get ready. Um, the grotesque came out in the SKT. It had to be yesterday, and the dynasty was there, and there's the pentacle that's on the cape of the grotesque that was in the water. So maybe the selfish star is selfish because the water has already been poured out. And in the grotesque, oh my gosh, I gotta go. I don't have time for this. I was gonna wash my hair today. I'll just show you. And it is that sticking out like a sore thumb energy. The grotesque is the Five of Cups. The thing that makes us special or unique also sometimes sets us aside from everyone. And depending on how we experience that, it may cause us to begrudge those parts of ourselves and lock them away. But it's like, here it is. That's our very key. Now it's the shining flame and the ebony shield. Oh, look, there's the Five of Pentacles. Five of Cups, Five of Pentacles. But there's the fifth pentacle. It's within this person. And so that's what goes into the void space on the dynasty. That's the thing that creates life where there was nothing before. So, grieving. I'm sorry to hear that, but I hope you allow yourself the time you need to do it. And I hope you have like a system of love and support that you can lean and rely on as you make it through it. But yeah, abject prominence feels like because it's abject, it would be a bad thing to be so other or outside. Lost your cat when you were broken. What? I'm so sorry to hear it. I think, did you lose? Was that last year that you lost? Or was it Emily that lost her cat and had to, or was that somebody else? Like, I feel like somebody lost and then had to like wait for the ground to thaw because it was too cold to bury him. I think it might have been Emily. Yeah, okay. That was last year. I thought it was a dog. I'm so sorry to hear it. Oof. Well, hopefully you'll be able to. She did. Was that the cat that came back? Because I remember there was one that she had lost and she thought it was gone for a while. And then one day somebody had seen it or something and it had made its way back to her. I don't remember. All right. Oh, okay. I have to go get ready. I don't know if I'll be back on talking about it because it almost feels like it doesn't feel, I mean, it has it in 3 hours, but it feels complete as it is. So I'm going to have to put these away anyway. So I might as well just, yeah, okay. Ooh, my ride is already here though, so she'd be like, "This is why you be late." And I'm like, "No." Temptation and the Page of Fire. Oops. Temptation and the Page of Fire are the cards that come out. Last cards from the Good Tarot. We had Strength and the Queen of Fire earlier for comparison, and then the Emperor is at the bottom of the deck. Mr. Lion Man. Ooh, you rushing today. You're in Oklahoma. Oof. Well, at least, well, not at least, but hopefully your cat is found by someone that can love and take care of it. Oh, okay. Then you have a system set up in place to recover him if he's found. The Crow when he's found. The Crow and the Moon. All right. Real quick, because I really need to go. It's also my proximity to the corn that is my proximity to work. So, fortunately, because sometimes I'd be running late. I haven't been late yet, though. The drum. The drum came out recently. And I talked about Wakinyan and how Wakinyan blessed the drum, how Wakinyan was responsible for the first Heyoka. The drum here today feels like pace, and it feels like rhythm, and it feels like there are things that are happening on beat. There are things that are happening in the right time. And if we don't know what the piece is, but we think we do, then we can assume that the drum is offbeat, or we can take a step assuming that something is going to be where it isn't. I don't know if it's like this drum has a beat of its own. And the most surefire way to be in pace with it is to continue to be and do and reintegrate and heal that thing that makes you different. Is to stick out like a sore thumb. Is that abject prominence. Because it's like that's marching to the beat of one's own drum. Then it comes into that Mooncat energy. And Mooncat would be able to see an invisible shadow. So I might come back and use the archetypes. I might not. That might be it. All right, I got to go. Thank y'all for being here. Again, I hope things improve for you, Steph. I hope school isn't terrible. I actually hope it's kind of nice. Kidua. It was nice to see you, Holly. I think you said something about the mailroom. I hope you all have an amazing whatever one of you see this. If you're not, I hope you have a much better one soon. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that whatever you need on your path journey and where you find. And I hope that I am not late. I won't be, but